Okay, Shavua Tov, gentlemen. What I'd like to do today, I'm not sure how long it'll take. I haven't seen it myself, but I think it's important for us to get a little familiarity with the tefillah of Nachem, which we say in the bracha in Shmon Esrei of Yerushalayim on Tisha B'Av in the afternoon. So again, I have the pair. We've been going through when we did Perish on Tefillah, which we'll still do Bezrat Hashem, the Sefer from Rabbi Chaim Friedlander, the Mashgiach of Panovich. So he has a piece over here. He goes through each word, and he wants to develop us to give us an understanding of what we're saying on Tisha B'Av. So I think that would make a big difference in our Tefillah. So he starts out like this. He says, Ba'avu Draham. The Abu Draham was a Rishon who wrote a Perish on Tefillah. He would quote psukim from Tanakh to show how everything that we have in our Tefillah is basically coming from Tanakh. So he says, the Abu Draham writes, Kosev Rav Amram, Shomer Nachem, that one is to say the Tefillah of Nachem on Ma'ariv and Shachris and Mincha. Rabbeinu Sadja, Kosev Mincha Bilvad. Rav Sadja Gaon says that it's to set only Mincha time. Kfar Posha the Minig Kadiv Rabbeinu Sadja. And the Minig, he lived in Spain, the Abu Draham. And he says the Minig in Spain was to only say it in Mincha, and the same thing applies by the Ashkenazim. The Ramah writes down the same thing. And he says, Avshalom or Batama Minig, where does this Minig come from that we say Nachem, specifically Mincha time? Because in the bracha of Nachem, we're asking for to be comforted. And since in the evening and in the morning of Tisha B'Av, we are in the intensity of Avelus, Yoshvim ala Karka was sitting on the ground. But Matzav Kazeh, in such a mental situation, Lo Shaykh Levakesh Nachama, it's not a time and a place to ask for to be comforted. Begeder Ma'asham, like Chazal tells us in Pirkei Avos, V'al Tenachamu B'Shot Shemesu Mutalafanav. When a person has Chas v'Shalom Rachman, someone died in the family, at the moment that the dead body is there in front of the person, that's not the time for Nachama. Hach b'Shas Mincha, but already after Mincha time, Asher Avra Tokfa Shel Avelis, the intensity of the Avelis has passed. Vanu Kami Me'akarka, we're getting up from the ground. Azu is Malavakish Machama, then is the appropriate time to start asking for Nachama. So that is the Abu Draham. And now he's going to go through the different words of this bracha over here. So it says.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Mincha, we're already sitting on the chairs. Wouldn't this be better than to do it Shachris? If the
that's what he's saying over here. You ask for Nechama after the intensity of the Avelis has passed. In the intensity of the Avelis, it's not a time and a place. It's like he's saying when you're at a funeral, right there, you don't ask for Nechama. It's only after the funeral, then you're open for Nechama. You're too involved with the Misa to be able to listen to any Nechama at that moment. That's why he said that's B'diyuk, exactly. That's the idea. After Shachris, when we're removing ourselves a little bit from the Avelis, then we're ready to hear the Nechama. Okay, so he continues now and he says, Nachem Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem should menachem us. So Rabbi Friedlander says like this, he says, Nichum b'mevono hapashutu, the word Nichum in its simple understanding, Ukmo Nichum Avelim, which corresponds to by someone who's in mourning, Ka'ashem menachemim lo mevatlim me'a'ovel es kol hatzar, when people come and they menachem someone who's in Avelis, Rahman al-San, you are not removing from the person the pain entirely, because there's no way that the menachemim can return to bring back that which the Ovel has lost. And that was the cause of the pain that the person is going through, because the person now has lost something very precious, a relative. So there's no way that the menachemim can return that. Ella, what's happening? He says, shemekilim elav hesar. They're trying to make the pain not as intense. An ovel by himself, it's very difficult for him to bear that burden. Ukashehu roa shaboim lenachamo. So when he sees that people are coming to comfort him, umishtatfim bitzaro, and they're joining in with him. They're showing empathy for his pain. Hatzara hitzaras rabim. So then what happens is the pain now is becoming a pain of the many. And Soros Rabbi Michatzi Nachama, that brings on a certain comforting. Kinosim because he feels he's not alone. When he feels that there are people that feel his pain with him, he's able to bear it better. Yesh b'zeh hakola misuyemet. There is a certain making it lighter, a certain lightening of the availus is happening. That is the simple understanding of the word nechama, where you see that people are again identifying with you, they're empathizing with you, and therefore that has the ability to make it the pain more bearable. That's the simple understanding, he says. What is the true understanding of nechama? Is letakein, is to correct. Well, again, I'm learning this with you. I haven't seen this yet. So he's saying that the true understanding of nechama is somehow to correct and to bring back that which was lost. Ha-nechama novas, nechama, comforting, has its source, mitoch rachamim, in mercy, come out like it says, Rabbeinu Yaakov Bayakar. V'nechama kora midas rachmanis. Nechama is a trait of mercy. Meitzer al ha'avelu. You are painting over this avelus. Both because it says in Tehillim, Atatokum, you will get up, right? I think you have a song to this effect. Atatokum terachem tzion tivne chomos Yerushalayim. You will get up and you will have mercy on Zion and you'll rebuild the walls of Yerushalayim. So, Kloma, what do we see over here? Nachem otanu, how will you comfort us, Hashem? Al yishetarachem v'titakein es hahefted, you're going to fix it. Like we see, Atatokum terachem tzion, how are you going to comfort Zion? Tivne chomos Yerushalayim. Hashem, you will rebuild the walls of Yerushalayim. So we see that the true nechama is accomplished, is fulfilled by correcting that which was lost, bringing back that which was lost. Tivnei chamos Yerushalayim. That's how Hashem is going to comfort us. Kemoshe matzanu eitzel Yitzchak. We find this by Yitzchak Avinu. Keshalokes is Rivka. When it says when Yitzchak married Rivka, it says, "V'yaveu Yitzchak ohala Sarah imo." That Yitzchak brought Rivka into Sarah imenu's tent. V'yikach es Rivka. He took Rivka. V'hatihi lo leisha. Rivka became his wife. V'ya'aveho, and he loved Rivka. V'yenachem, and he was comforted Yitzchak after his mother. So what do we see over here? Ksuvim po kamed dvorim. We see a number of ideas being written over here in regards to Yitzchak. It says v'yeho Yitzchak ha'oel sarimo, that Yitzchak took Rivka into his mother Sarah's tent. Lo kosev, it didn't say ohel Sarah. It didn't say to ohel Sarah, right? It says he took into his mother's tent. So he says, Rashi explains, what does that mean? He says when Rivka came into the tent, he says, V'naskas dugmas Sarah. Rivka had the appearance of Sarah, his mother. It says Sarah imo. That Rivka took on the qualities of Sarah, his mother. Kloma, that's Sarah, his mother. That's who he saw. Shekol's man Sarah kayemes, right? The famous medrash that Rashi quotes over there. While Sarah was alive, near Doluk me Erev Shabbos, Erev Shabbos, there was a candle in the tent from Erev Shabbos till Erev Shabbos. Ubrocha Metzuya Be'isa, there was a brocha in the bread that Sarah had. Banan Kushral Anan, and there was a cloud. In other words, what you had in the Mishkan, that's what you had by Sarah's tent. The Mishkan was basically just trying to go back to the Avos. That's what the Mishkan was. It was a replica of the tent of the Avos. Umishamesa Pascha, when Sarah died, all those things stopped. Ukishabos Rivka Chazron, when Rivka came back, all those things came back again. Then once Yitzchak saw that when Rivka came into Sarah's tent, it all came back. Then Yitzchak took Sarah, then he took Rivka for a wife. And then it says afterwards, Yitzchak was comforted on behalf of his mother. Why is that again? He's showing you a very beautiful idea, that which was lost came back again. Hukam Shuv Oel Sarah. Sarah's tent was now reestablished in Kol HaMailos B'Shleimus, with all of its greatness. Kol Masha Nechsar in Petira Sarah Hushlam. Everything that was lost when Sarah died was now all being brought back together. Zohi Anachama Ha'amitis. That is true Nachama.
But it's only partial. Sarah is not back, and so it has to be 100% returned, no?
Well, again, he means everything that Sarah represented all came back now.
But Yerushalayim, you're looking for 100% reproduction.
All that Yerushalayim had is going to come back again, right? That's what we're looking for, right? That's the idea he's trying to. Everything that Yerushalayim has is going to come back again, right? All the qualities. Nachama Kazos, this comforting, Anu Mevakshim, that's what we are asking from Hashem Yisbarach. Yachzir Shuvas, Kol Mashaya. Exactly. We want to ask you to return everything that was. Zeo, that is Nochem Hashem Elokeinu. That's what Nochem Hashem Elokeinu means. We are pleading from Hashem to bring back everything that Yerushalayim had. We want that back. So that's the first three words in the bracha. Nochem Hashem Elokeinu. Now he's moving on.
I just had one question. Wouldn't, on some level, Hashem also be mourning?
Hashem does mourn over the Churban Beis Hamikdash, right?
Right. So when we say we're looking for Nachama, Hashem is also looking for Nachama, right?
I'm sure that's very true. I'm sure that's very, very true. That's quite correct, right? Yeah, absolutely correct, Brian. Now, how do we do that? And well, we'll see. Maybe he'll address that over here. I don't know, but it's a very deep question you're asking. You're correct. You're right. I would venture that when the Jewish people will be brought back to their glory, that is a nachama for Hashem as well. I would venture that because we are whatever. The connection of Hashem with this world is very much connected with the Jewish people. So now he goes on with the words of the bracha that we say, Es Avele Tzion, for the mourners of Tzion, Es Avele Yerushalayim, and the mourners of Yerushalayim. So naturally he picks up on what we're all thinking right now. Yesh Leva'er, there is to explain, Mazet Tzion, what does Tzion represent? Yerushalayim, what does Yerushalayim represent? So he says, B'pashtus, again, he tries to tell us things on a very simple, superficial understanding first. But Pashtus, on the simple level, Yerushalayim hi ha'ir. Yerushalayim is the definition of the city, and Tzion hakavana l'mokom hametzuyan b'miyuchad. Tziyun means a marked place. So he says that Yerushalayim, on a simple level, means the city itself, and Tzion is that unique spot within Yerushalayim, which is the mokom hamikdash. So that's a simple understanding. Ach Tzion hakavona, but he says you should know Tzion also, the understanding is Gam L'chlal Yisrael, also refers to the Jewish people, Bim Komam, in their place, Kasher Heim Mechubarim LaHakodesh Baruch Hu Al Yedei Beis HaMikdash. So he says Tzion means that it's referring to the Jewish people in their connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the Beis HaMikdash was the conduit within which the Jewish people connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says, just like Kemo Bekinos, just like we say in the Kinos, Haposkos with the word Tzion, Shechiber, that Rabbi Yehuda Halevi wrote, Shom HaKavana, what does the word Tzion mean over there? Tzion L'Klal Yisrael is referring to the Jewish people as a whole. So it doesn't only necessarily refer to the Beis HaMikdash, it refers to the Jewish people as a whole, so that again, and we're asking for our connection, our reconnecting with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is Ra'il Dvareinu. What's the proof to this understanding that Tzion is not only referring to the Beis HaMikdash, but to the Jewish people as a whole? Is the Medrash that's brought down. It says, Bo Ura'eh, come and see, called Tzaro She'era LeYosef, Era LeTzion. all of the tragedies that befell Yosef befell Zion. By Yosef it says v'yisnaklu oso. By Yosef it says that the brothers were ensnaring for Yosef. But Zion, as it says, al amcha, on your people. So we see referring to the Jewish people. Yarimu so, they are ensnaring against them. So we see that again, he's proving that Zion means the Jewish people. By Yosef it says v'hamidanim mochru oso el Mitzrayim. It says that the Medinim sold Yosef to Egypt. But Zion, and it says Ubnei Yehuda, Ubnei Yerushalayim, machartem libnei ha-Yavonim. They were sold also. And Zion, v'Yosef heim osa gematria. Very interesting idea for all those that you're into gematria. You should know that the word Zion and the word Yosef are the same numerical values, 156. He says, why is that? He says, Mipnei shekamo Yosef hayaziv. Yosef was the radiance. Ikonim shelo doma leYaakov. Yosef was a duplicate on some level to Yaakov. By Mitsuyan sheben habonim, he was the epitome. He was the zenith of the children. Chach Tzion, so to Klal Yisrael. We are the epitome of all the nations. And this is what we're asking from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rabbi Friedlander tells us. So we want Hashem to bring back everything to the mourners of Tzion, meaning Ha'avelim al Beis HaMikdash, those who are mourning over the Beis HaMikdash, and over Klal Yisrael. That's Avela Yerushalayim, Ha'avelim al Ir HaKodesh, over the holy city. So we see they're all different facets. There are different areas that are of mourning. Number one, the Beis HaMikdash, over the Jewish people, and over the Yerushalayim Ir HaKodesh. Okay, we're moving on over here. Vasa'ir Ha'avela, continues on with the bracha. The city that is in mourning, V'ha'chareva, that was desolate, V'habezuya, which is being disgraced, V'hashomema, which is there's nothing there. Ha'avela mibli baneh, it's mourning with there are no inhabitants. So he says, Bakosh Aseino, what are we asking for? She'Hashem Yizbarach Inachem Gam Es Ha'ir Yerushalayim Atzma. We want Hashem to have mercy on the city of Yerushalayim itself. She Avela, Yerushalayim itself is in mourning. Ke'odem Shebonav Nistalku, like a person whose children have left him. Vu Ovel Aleim, he's mourning over them. Kach Yerushalayim Avela, the city of Yerushalayim is also in mourning. Al Shebonel Holchem Yimena Veinam, that the residents of Yerushalayim are no longer there. Now, what is Hachareva? Me'onoseha. As Bote Yerushalayim, the houses of Yerushalayim are destroyed. V'habezuya mikvoda, it's been disgraced from its honor. Shekvoda, all the honor of Yerushalayim is left. Ein hakavona kan rak al the kavod shir. We're not discussing merely the honor that the city had. Ikar hakavona, the main understanding over here is ilakavod shemayim shenizbazer. Again, Yerushalayim represent, when you saw Yerushalayim, you saw the Shechina. You saw Hashem's interaction, Hashem's hashgacha pratis with the Jewish people and with the world. So with the destruction of Yerushalayim, then the kavod of Shemayim has been disgraced. Ki ikar malas v'chashivas Yerushalayim, the essential greatness of Yerushalayim, Heyose ir Hashem Yisbarach, it was the city of Hashem. Like we say in our davening of Shmona Esrei, Bin Yerushalayim Ircha, we're calling it Yerushalayim, your city. We're defining Yerushalayim, it's your city, Hashem, it's the Ir Hashem. V'rachamim toshiv, you should come back, in your mercy you should return. L'chein, therefore, Churban Yerushalayim is the bizayon in the kavod of Hashem Yisbarach. Okay. Kasher okra shalo, and she's at Yerushalayim is like an akara shalo yoloda. The bracha continues. It's like a barren woman who has no children, like it says in the Navi Yeshayahu. Roni Akora will rejoice, the barren woman, Lo Yalda, who didn't have children. Ki Rabin B'nai Shomimo B'nai Bu'ala. Zuti Asimcha Lo Osil in the future. Achayom in the end, but nowadays though, Yesh Hatzar HaGadol. Right now though, we're living through the pain. He says, Shahayalodim, the children, who are the children? B'nai Yisrael, Holcho Beinam, the Jewish people are no longer in Yerushalayim. V'hi Ka'akara, it's like, Yerushalayim is like a barren woman. Ki Aisha Masos Liba, the joy of her heart. Hu HaYeladim is her children. V'lo Ein Yeladim, and she has no children. And the legions have swallowed Yerushalayim. So he explains that means Mavayar Rabbi Yaakov Bar Yakar. V'yevaluha means to swallow, like it says in Eicha and in the Kinos. Bala Hashem v'lo chamal. Hashem swallowed and had no mercy, meaning legionos, the legions, chayalot, which means soldiers in the Chazal's language, from the word legion, as we know, a Latin word. Gama avudram mavayer kach legionim perish machanot hamilchama. These were warring camps. For that's the Chazal. Legion are over, which, you know, the army. Okay, fine, right? That they have swallowed up Yerushalayim. Now, so he wants to say over here like this. He's asking a question which we have some time on, right? Which we want to understand. He's asking, but Yerushalayim is rebuilt, right? In other words, Yerushalayim is rebuilt today. I know I have hundreds of thousands of Jews in Yerushalayim. So how are we meant to understand this, right? So he quotes over here. It's very fascinating just to hear the numbers. And the numbers are staggering, but just listen to the Gemara. He says, Tanu Rabbanan. There's a Gemara. Pamachas Bikesh Agrippas. Agrippas HaMelech was the last king of in Yehuda before the Romans destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. It's Agrippas. You people know Agrippas because it's right near the Shuk, but it's named after Agrippas HaMelech. So Agrippas was a king, and one time he wanted to know how many Jews are there. How many Jews are there? So Amalei LeKohen Gadol, he said to the Kohen Gadol, Tein einecha b'psachim. He asked the Kohen Gadol to count the number of Korban Pesachs there were. So Noto Kulya Mikol Echad, he took a kidney from each one of the Korban Pesachs that were brought that day. And into Sham Shishim Ribo, there were 600,000 Zugay Kalayos, twice as much, 1,200,000 kidneys. That's how many Korban Pesachs were brought in Yerushalayim before the Korban Beis Hamikdash. Now that excludes people who are Tamei and people who live far away. Ve'ein locha Pesach u'Pesach shelo nimno alav yosem me'asar b'nei Adam. So you have 10 people on a Korban Pesach, and you're talking 1,200,000 Korban Pesachs. So you're talking there were 12 million Jews in Yerushalayim on Pesach in the time of Agrippas. And that's besides the people who are Tamei and who live far away. So Nimtza, so we see over here, just to get a feel of what Yerushalayim was in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. So as the Pesach Yerushalayim may al-shneim esar million Yehudim. There were over 12 million Jews in Yerushalayim. Who were staying in Yerushalayim. So if you think you have trouble when you come, Aliyas Aregel, when you come for Sukkot's time, very often it gets very crowded. That's, tens of thousands, B'li Ayin Hara. Can you imagine if you have 12 million Jews in Yerushalayim on Pesach? In Kenei Echshel Hashvos. So he's saying, even if we do B'li Ayin Hara, we have hundreds of thousands. But again, it's not what Yerushalayim, that's just on a simple level. That's just on the physical, logistic level. The numbers are nowhere near what it was. Right? That's just on the simple level. Now he continues a little bit. We have some time. He says, but if you look at it from the spiritual level, like he says, Barov right? we don't have the spirituality that we were looking for over here. Unfortunately, we have our, a lot of non-Jews that have that are disgracing Eretz Yisrael, et cetera, and what's going on. Right? For Yoser, have a Sha'achorban Magia Ad L'Shmei Shemaim and the spiritual levels, like we say. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu Lo Ovo B'Yerushalayim. This is what you were talking about, Brian, before. How Kodesh Baruch Hu is mourning over Yerushalayim. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu Lo Ovo B'Yerushalayim Shel Mala. Hashem has put upon himself a ban not to go into Yerushalayim Shel Mala. Tahainu Miyut Hashem, which means what does Yerushalayim Shel Mala represent? He says over here that the shefa, the bracha that comes down from Yerushalayim Shel Mala to come into Yerushalayim in this world, right, won't come ad shava until Hashem comes to Yerushalayim. Until Hashem comes to Yerushalayim Shel Mata, Hashem will not go into the Yerushalayim Shel Mala. Ki achorban hu begashmius uberuchnius ke'echad. The destruction of Yerushalayim is not only a spiritual one, but is a physical one as well, because Hashem says, I will not come into the Yerushalayim in Shemayim, meaning to bring down the bracha into this world until there is the Yerushalayim Shel Mata. So Nimta, so we see over here, Shabavonoseno Harabim, because of our many sins. Yerushalayim hi Avela, it's in mourning, it's Chareva, it's destroyed, Shomema, it's desolate, Ubezuy, and it's in disgrace. So that's this piece over here. We're not done yet. Be'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we will continue with your permission. Yeah, he goes on with the bracha over here, and Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll have a day or two yet before. Hopefully, we won't need it, but at least we'll have somewhat of an understanding in the bracha of Nachem. Are there any questions?
Yeah, it's interesting that historically I'm a little bit, like history, and I read a little bit about it. Till this century, past century, there were no million citizens in any city. Rome, Greece had 100, 200,000. All of 1800s, till early 1900s, there was no concept of 1 million people in one city. So saying that, the Yerushalayim must have been like, 12, 20 times greater than anything in the ancient world. It must have been amazing size, because nobody, Athens at its height had a few 100,000 people, they say, because people didn't have this mitzvah and they all spread everywhere. So it's unbelievable.
Right. 12 million Jews, right? Correct, right. Okay, Mitzvah Hashem will be zocher to see such a thing. Be'ezrat Hashem.
Amen.
Okay, so have a wonderful day. Are there any other questions, or we're good? Okie doke. So Be'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow we will continue on with the bracha here. Okay, pleasure. Okay, take care.
Rabbi. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay, have a great day, boys.